What is up, everyone? I'm Chris Knight, and you are watching Chaos Central here with the Rule of Three, as always, on Sunday. Well, most of the time, if we can get there. Sometimes we've rescheduled it, but most of the time on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me being the lone person over here in the Central time zone, I have to adjust because Eastern Standard Time people just don't understand that everything is central.
No.
Listen to you guys. You haven't figured it out yet. You haven't figured it out that the world kind of revolves around me. I mean, in this place.
That's so much NFL game start on Eastern Standard Time.
Actually, did you know the Eastern and Central Time most times with like big shows and stuff, they start at the same time?
Depends on what show, right? Because if we're talking about TV shows, no. I'm watching Stargirl way before you guys are.
Yep. They used to do it at the same time. I don't know how they do it now. I really don't care. So I just know that Central Time is central to everything in the world. So
if you want to believe that, no problem.
What's going on, Austinator? We got Austinator in the chat. And guys, if you can do me a favor really quick before we get over to the wonderful thing, we're going to go ahead and ask you to tweet us out. Please tweet us out. We're streaming live right now on Chaos Central and here on the Real Review 3000. So guys, do me a favor, do that. And if you want to go over to Real Review, Chaos Central, please do that. So with that said, guys, let's tell everybody about ourselves. Go ahead, Danny. I'll let you go first.
My name is Danny. I'm on my channels is Comic Chat on YouTube. I also am part of the Three-Headed Monster here on Chaotic Central. Myself, Nzo, and Chris. We do this show on Sundays at this time. It's called Rule of Three. We also do a show on Tuesday nights called The Chaotic List. You do have a couple of guests on there to try to spice things up. And tomorrow night on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the show that I host, and it's called The Chaotic Conversation, where usually we have our top rankings of what a particular topic we're talking that night. Also later on this afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please catch me, Nzo, Terrence, and I'm not sure if John's going to join us, but he's a regular on the show, on the fourth member of that quartet, I guess. It's called Equilibrium, so please check us out if you get opportunity.
Absolutely. Great show. And you guys just showed on Saturday. Great time there.
That's mainly sports now.
It's what?
It's mainly a sports show on there. We talk mainly just sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's good. You guys are loving fans of the same teams, right?
No. No. I like the good teams. Danny likes these shitty teams. I don't know why.
He's a Steeler. I'm a Redskin.
Oh, you see how this works?
Exactly what I said. Good team.
That's okay.
Because
you're subjective to what you think is a good team, unlike what really is a good team, like the Kansas City Chiefs. So just saying.
Oh please, you guys only got a good team in the last 2 or 3 years.
Teams before. It's just we didn't have that magic sauce, like Patrick Mahomes, man. That dude. Come on, give it to us that we got the guy.
As long as he don't get hurt, y'all gonna be in.
Dude, he got hurt this year like 2 or 3 different times. I don't want him to get hurt. Don't get me wrong. No, you're right.
I mean, seriously hurt.
No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. Okay, Nzo, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
What's up? You guys know my channel. It's Biggaford Entertainment. I'm also here on the Rule of Three now. I'll be tomorrow on Danny's channel. You can catch me out on Equilibrium later on today. You can also catch me on Rob Storm's channel, Storms Live, and catch me Saturdays with Danny on Square One. Like I said, we do sports, but we're going through all kinds of range of topics, with all these shows we have. So we're just trying to do things differently and see what sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am Chris Knight. This is the Real Review 3000 on one part of this. Like I said, we're streaming this on both here and on Chaos Central. And you can find me here. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. I'm kind of like a slightly better than the $3 hooker. I'm a stream whore. That's what I call myself.
Slightly better.
Slightly better. Like 302. I go down to 302. But you try to get me for 301. No,
I think
I have standards.
I'll go with the $3 whore.
Oh, you see, like I say, I'm a stream whore. So that's just how it is. You know, it's just a nice way that people call me around here. You know, that's that loving term. All right, guys, with the pleasantries out of the way, Thomas Gilkian to the chat. Thank you, Thomas, for coming up.
And what's this about Steelers are crappy in there? Hey, man. No, Patriots are crappy.
Thomas has this, affection with the Boston teams.
Hey, Patriots, I give the devil his due. Patriots used to be on top, but this year it's going to tell. Was it Tom or is it Belichick?
Yeah, well, or is it neither? Was it the combination? That's what I think. I think it was a combination of the two, and I don't think it's one or the other.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That's for sure. So, we're going to do this. The Wheel of Topics. Here it is. And, of course, we have the 3 minutes on the clock. So let's find out what our first topic is. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Is Thor Love and Thunder, or in Thor Love and Thunder, do you think they will let the female Thor live, or will they follow the comics and let Jane die of cancer? In Thor Love and Thunder, do you think they will let the female Thor live, or do you think they will let Jane die of cancer like in the comic book? That is your first topic. Nzo, we're going to let you go ahead.
Sure.
And let you be the first. Oh, I forgot to take that one out. I'll take that out while you're talking. 3 minutes on the board. Your time starts now.
All right. So first off, I have no idea about the Thor Love and Thunder comic. So you telling me that she dies in the comic is basically news to me. Do I think that they're actually going to do that in the movie? I'm kind of torn, right? Because we already know that Natalie Portman has had a little bit of issues with Marvel. That's why she wasn't in the last one, I believe it was. All right. And then when they brought her back for Endgame, it was like a little cameo. And at some points, it looked to me like they actually took like maybe deleted scenes from the Dark World. But I don't know about that for sure. But on the other hand, if she plans to stick around in the universe, then I say, they're going to keep her around. But if this is going to be like a one and done, then I think they're probably going to do the cancer thing and probably kill her off. I could definitely see that happening. But at the same time, again, I really and truly have no idea whether they're going to kill her off or not. Not a big fan of her character anyways. So if they do, wouldn't really bother me whatsoever. I mean, she was okay. I didn't really like the first Thor.
Mm-hmm.
I have an unpopular opinion where I liked the Dark World. And then I have another unpopular opinion where I didn't like Ragnarok, right? I mean, the first half of Ragnarok was good for me, but the second half, I didn't really like it. So her not being in it didn't really make a difference to me anyways. So I'm like, if they kill her off, I'm fine with that. I would like to see how she does as Thor, though. I really do, because I like Natalie Portman from the Star Wars. Look at that. I like Natalie Portman from the Star Wars prequels. So I really want to see how she does as Thor. That will definitely be good to see. But once again, if they kill her off at the end of that, I have no issues with that whatsoever. I think it would be a little bit ballsy for them to do something like that too, right? Because the only real deaths we had were in Endgame. So if they kill her off, I would definitely be interested in seeing that. But at the same time, if they don't, I can understand. I don't know if she has a new contract with them. Like I said, if it's just a one and done, but I think it's more one and done, kill her off, and then move on from there.
Okay.
That's exactly what I think.
Okay, cool. All right, Danny, you got 3 minutes on the board. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be basically how Natalie Portman wants to be a part of the Marvel Universe or not. If she's like, well, I just want my one my one shot or whatever, and that's all she wants, then I think they'll probably kill her off. But what I would do, I would film 2 endings and then let a test audience see it. And then whichever ending that they like, I probably would lean that way. I would do it with professionals that know about the movie industry. Then I would do it with just straight up fans, and then compare the two, and then whichever one got the better response, that's what I would do. Um, I don't care one way or the other if Natalie Portman lives or dies, but I just don't want it to be something woke. And she's like, I'm the better Thor because I'm female. It ain't gonna be all that stuff. As long as she go in there, it's a good story. It does what it needs to do. Then I'm cool with it either way. Um, One thing I don't see how she can, because the female Thor gonna have muscles and stuff, and her frame just doesn't look like it's conducive to putting a lot of muscle mass on there. I could be wrong. I'm not a professional bodybuilder. It's just my eye test. So if she can get that look, she's gonna get a more muscular, fit look. Then she probably could pull it off. I like her. She seems to be a very. Only thing that I didn't like her in was in when she's like a psychopath. Like something. I can't think of it.
I don't
that's
think I've seen it, but I know which movie you're talking about.
Yeah. Black Flamingo or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Oh, Black Swan.
Black Swan.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't care for her in that, but other than that, I pretty much like her shows. I like the energy that she brings. I think she's a good actress. I definitely liked her as Padme in the Star Wars series. So I'm not mad at her. I don't know really why she was upset in the past. I heard she was. I don't know whether it was a scheduling thing, whether she felt like she didn't have enough screen time. I don't know. But I think it's kind of crazy to have the power of a god and then that kills you instead of healing you. So, and Kevin Feige is known to switch up things in comic books. He don't stay true to them in all aspects of the comic books. So that may be the thing that actually saves her life. Thor comes back from space after he hearing that she has cancer, and he gives her Mjolnir, and when she uses it, it transforms and saves her. I could see that happen. I wouldn't have a problem with that. So, I think it's really going to depend on whether or not she wants to stick around or whether she's like, I'm one and done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, 100%.
Let me get the 3 minutes back up here. 3 minutes. Okay. I kind of agree with that. Not kind of. I actually wholeheartedly agree with it's up to Natalie Portman. With the current climate that people believe with the woke stuff that they believe Marvel might be going for or might be heading towards, she might stay around. She might. The talk of all-female Avengers, what's the name of that group? Danny, what do you?
I thought it was all female Avengers.
No, there was an actual. I don't know. I'll look it up somewhere.
I'll look that up right now for you.
Yeah. I have to now. I have to look at the darn YouTube here real quick. Hold on, because Sean decided to do us a favor here, and
is it called A-Force?
Yes, that's it. A-Force. Yeah. With A-Force, if I think she might stick around for that, but I would say if Feige were to ever stick with the absolute comic book version, this would be a perfect time for it. I mean, she obviously doesn't want to be a huge part of it, and the fact that she left and then she only had a very, very small part in Avengers. I just don't know if she's gonna want to stick it out long enough to really develop anything more than what we already know about the character. So I would say that I would kill her off. I would stay true to the way it was. The super sticker, nope. Oh, what are you saying nope to? Sean?
What does grassy ass mean?
Gracias.
Gracias. Thank you.
That's just he's just doing it.
Gracias.
Thank you for the $1.49 super sticker, Sean.
Gracias.
But I think that if they want to really do something different from what they normally do, stick with the comic book. I don't think she wants to sign on for 5-6 movies. I just don't see that being a way of making her. I don't know. She has way too many, and this is going to sound kind of weird with some of the actors that they have gotten for parts. She has too much talent for just this movie set. And she has way too broad of a spectrum in her acting style and what she's done in the past to say, yeah, I'll give you 5 movies where I'll play a female Thor and basically spend the next 10 years giving you what I want. So I think that killing her off just makes sense. 3 minutes to talk about this together, guys. But
right now, man, we live in a world now where the next paycheck, the next movie is not guaranteed. So if she can lock in X amount of dollars, I would lock it in.
And that's what I was going to say. Oh, sorry, Danny, go ahead.
I'm just saying right now, Marvel's on the mountaintop. So why would you not want to be on the mountaintop?
Yeah, and what I was going to say is, what has she really done lately? You know what I mean? Like, what's the last thing she's done? I couldn't tell you. So I'm like, huh? So I'm like, if Marvel's going to give her a 5-picture deal, I think she'll take it. You know, it's just for me. I don't know if that's the way Marvel is going to go, right? What are they going to do with Chris Hemsworth? What are they going to, you know, maybe not kill him off, but he goes off and she becomes the new Thor in the next phase of movies? That's a possibility too.
Yeah, it is. You know, I think that
I could be wrong, but I think Thor is about the safest person that's not going to get killed. He's a freaking god.
I think that they can't. I mean, could they? Sure, they can kill whoever they want and explain it however they want. It's comic book based movie. But I think if Natalie Portman sticks and does more than 1 picture, I don't think she signs more than maybe 2 or 3 movie deal. I just don't see her doing more than that, because she was already disenchanted with the franchise after the second one. And a lot of the storyline, I think, is they really did try to make the second one about her. But because of how dark it was, and I think she said, you know, it got a little too dark. It was depressing on the set. I think I've read a lot of different things like that. And if that's how she felt, tying her down to a franchise or even the Marvel group may very well just be something she's, you know, sign her for 5 movies, 3 movies in, she's disenchanted. She's like, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. Then you're fighting with her to get your 2 movies. Think one person comes to mind, Daniel Craig. Before Spectre, he said he basically tried to get out. And then he said after Spectre, he says, I'm done. I hate this part. I never want to do it again. And some people were questioning, was he even going to do it the last of his 5 movies? At one time it said no, he was done. He wasn't even going to come back for the 5th one. And then he came back, and then part of the way through the shooting and some of the stuff that when they were talking to him, he says, oh, I didn't mean what I said before. Actually, I wouldn't be against maybe doing 1 or 2 more, just 1 movie at a time. He said that then. And now he's saying, no, this is it. So again, it jumps around, and you don't really want a person like that. So if she comes around and she starts jumping around saying, oh yeah, I'll do it, I'll do 5 movies, and then 2 movies in she's like, yeah, I'm really not wanting to do this. How long are you going to deal with that? And does it help your franchise? 2 movies max right now.
I don't care if Daniel Craig is James Bond. I know some people do, but he's not my favorite.
No, and I get that too, right? But my thing is, if you dish out the dough, they'll do it.
Yeah, they'll do it. that was Robert Downey Jr. He was milking that cow.
That's true.
I can't say that I blame
him. Me neither. Me neither.
All right. Second topic: will Star Wars make a comeback, or at least start moving in the right direction on their next movie, whenever that is? We don't know when that is yet. We're hearing different rumors. Danny, 3 minutes on the board. Will they make a comeback, or at least start moving in the right direction on the next movie? 3 minutes on the board. Time starts now.
I think if Jon Favreau and David Filoni sit down and brainstorm with George Lucas and come up with a really, really good script. And as people ought to say, it's makes sense and it's connected, and all the boxes are checked for as time frame and how stuff. In fact, I would get as far away from the old uh, Star Wars as possible. And let's come up with a new story.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something from the EU or something out your imagination, or have maybe sprinkles of the old stuff, but not a lot of stuff. Because people keep yelling about canon, and I'm going to keep harping on this. Canon doesn't hold water as long as the owner of that canon is still living, and it can't be transferred to a new owner. Because if I buy something new, I'm gonna change it up if I don't like what's already there, and that's what Disney did. They changed it up to the way that they like it, and I know it's pissed off fans and all this kind of stuff. I'm sorry. Uh, canon is when I looked it up, it's more along the lines of something that refers to biblical stuff. That's what the definition says. So that's what I go on. But I think I would personally want to see stories about the Sith, about how they came to be, what they did when they were in power, Sith Wars, that kind of stuff. That's what I want to see. But as long as the story makes sense, and Star Wars has to be perfect, because the minute it's not perfect, then you're gonna see 50 million YouTubers go in there and bash it. They bring out the pitchforks and the lanterns like they're chasing and trying to destroy Frankenstein. How can you be a fan of something if you're trying to kill it because it's not what you want it to be?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that if they get a good story, I have faith in Dave Filoni and John Favreau, and if they listen to Mr. Lucas and they sit down, all three put their heads together and come up with a good script, and they have the directive skill set to do it. They have the knowledge between Dave Filoni and Lucas to do it. You got the movie making savvy of John Favreau. I think it can be successful, but they got to keep Kathleen Kennedy out of it. I don't think that she has the necessary skill set to make a Star Wars movie that the fans want to see. She got the skill set to make a Star Wars movie, but it's her vision. Her vision is not popular. I'm not saying it's not profitable, but it's not popular. So I just think that those three guys get together with their skill set, put their heads together, they can right the ship and point it in the right direction. That fans will come back to it and say, "Hallelujah, it's about time." And even if it does suck, fans still gonna go see it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I really think that Disney is banking on. Our films maybe not what you like, but you're gonna come see it anyhow.
Okay. Nzo, 3 minutes on the board. Here you go.
Let's go. All right. So, to answer the question, I do believe Star Wars will get back on point, right? I mean, they had a little bit of missteps. I understand that. Some people didn't like their movies. Me personally, I didn't like the sequels at all. I thought they were, you know what I mean. And to be honest with you, an unpopular opinion is that I didn't really like any of the new Star Wars movies that Disney did. Right. So I believe that, like Danny said, if they talk to Dave Filoni, if they let Favreau run it, they will be able to get Star Wars back on track. They are really big Star Wars fans. You listen to Dave Filoni and he's like right there. George Lucas is in his ear explaining to him what he wants to see or what Star Wars should be. So if they take that advice, I 100% believe that they will create a good Star Wars. And like Danny said, I'm a Star Wars fan. Just because I didn't like the sequels does not mean that I don't want to see Star Wars do good or that I will not go see a Star Wars movie. I will be there the first day once a Star Wars movie comes out again. Because in my heart, I'm hoping and I'm praying to sit there and watch something good. And even though I didn't really like the sequels, there was something in every movie that I did like. You know what I mean? It just for me that the bad outweighed the good, but there was something in there that I liked in every single one of those movies. It's just the direction that they took that I didn't really like, and a lot of fans feel like I do. A lot of fans feel like that wasn't their Luke, you know what I mean, or some stuff in the stories that they didn't like. So a lot of fans feel that way, and I believe that Disney is listening to that, or at least I hope they are, because The Mandalorian came out. And right away, they told Kathleen Kennedy to stay away from the Mandalorian, right? And
yeah, pretty unceremoniously too.
right. Told her to stay away from it. Like, listen, this is his baby, and he did it. And it's not great for me. It's not like, oh my God, but it felt more like Star Wars than anything else that they have done. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it. I actually enjoyed The Mandalorian. There was a lot of episodes that I liked as well. You know, I just find a little bit of it felt like Star Trek a little bit, like the dialogue. But I believe if they're making a movie and they speak to George Lucas, they will be able to fix that. And we'll get a good story. We'll get a good dialogue, good music. And I do believe that that's the path that they're on. Now, we don't know when the next Star Wars movie is going to come out or what it's going to be about. I just don't want to see a Star Wars movie that doesn't revolve around Jedi and Sith. You know, if you put the Jedi and Sith in there, you make it 50 years, 100 years from what happened now, something, and basically start it all over again. But if you do something like that, you know, I think they can get people invested again in Star Wars.
Absolutely. So I don't think Disney set out to change canon per se. They dropped the EU, which was a severely stupid move on their part. You don't have to necessarily acknowledge the EU. You don't have to follow everything the EU has in it, but you have this wide host of characters. So instead, what they're being blamed for now in movies is stealing a character, changing its name, but making it the same character, and not doing it slyly either. It's just the same thing with storylines. They're stealing storylines from the EU or parts of the EU storylines and inserting them into their movies. Yet here's a company saying, "Oh, well, we don't. The EU doesn't exist or whatever." It's really not a smart move on their part to do that. But I don't think they set out to change what people call canon. I just don't think they understand what they have, because when they got it, it had been years outside of the Clone Wars show since anything had been done with Star Wars. There were no movies, no new movies. There was no TV shows except for the Clone Wars, and the Clone Wars has a very specific area it's focusing on. So when they got it, they saw nothing but this huge golden goose that had all this potential. But just because you have a golden goose, just because you have all the ingredients for the most amazing meal in the world, if you don't know how to put it together, it's not going to come out right. They had all these great ingredients, and then they sat there and they started cooking with them, and then this doesn't taste right. This isn't the same as when we tasted it after that one chef made it. Why? What's the difference? It's because you don't understand what you got. Somebody like Dave Filoni understands what Star Wars is, enough so when he makes his mistakes, he understands enough of it that he can make something and you taste it and no, does it taste like the original? No, it doesn't. But it tastes pretty good. It tastes better than what you were getting before. And when they look at it, like you said, Sith, Jedi, laser guns, cool ships, just the basic ingredients is what you start with. And you don't think Star Wars or you don't think Skywalker anymore. You think, let's go Old Republic. Let's go something broad that doesn't have a lot of stories that have been made. Nothing we've seen on screen yet. Let's go with something and stay very generic to what it's supposed to be and see what the response is. Start simple. Don't make this massive, chicken cordon bleu meal with a risotto and all this extra stuff. Dude, make fried chicken and biscuits, man. Just basic, something that it's easy to make and it will taste good. That's all you got to start with. 3 minutes on the board. Let's talk about this all together. Do you guys know how long Disney's been interested in Star Wars?
No, but I'm pretty sure very long.
Danny?
I don't have a clue.
I'm sure. Okay. 1975, I think. When When George Lucas tried to shop it around, he actually went to Disney and said, "Hey, you guys interested in making this movie?" And they laughed him out of the room. Basically, they said, "No, we're not doing that. It's not directed towards kids. It doesn't look kiddish, and nobody understands what you're doing, anyways." As soon as it became a massive hit, Disney realized their folly. They could have had that 40 plus years ago and not spent $4 billion. Or, I mean, this is the thing people may not understand. They've been around.
Hindsight's a mother.
Exactly. But they've been around and they've wanted this for a long time. I think Disney was the best place for it to go. It's just got to get the right people in there to make it happen. And I think that's where the problem is. I don't blame Disney per se. I blame Kathleen Kennedy. I blame Ryan Johnson
I don't blame her. I blame Bob Iger. I have two bosses that's over me where I work at in my profession. And if I step out of line, one of those two is going to let me have it.
Yeah, but I'm going to explain why I blame her and not Iger. When they bought Star Wars, and this is what I think it happened. When they bought Marvel and they bought Star Wars, this is my imagination of what happened. Kevin Feige comes in and says, "Here's my outline. I'm working on this. This is where we're at. This is what I've got planned forward. These are my phases. This is what I've got. I'm ready to go. What do you want me to do?" Iger looks at it and says, "Perfect, great, keep going. If I got an issue, I'll tell you." Kathleen Kennedy comes in. They sit down. "So what do you got?" "Well, we haven't really thought of what we're going to do because Star Wars hasn't had a new movie for a while, but we got all these great characters. I think we'll go back to the original cast and we'll do we'll finish up the Skywalker saga because that's what George wanted to do." She's saying all this stuff, but she doesn't have that outline. She hasn't put anything in front of Bob Iger. But Bob Iger's been told that this is the lady to do the job. So he's like, "Okay, fine, go ahead."
But I'll tell you this. The reason why I blame both of them is because George Lucas gave them an outline of what the next new Star Wars should be. So he can't sit there and blame Kathleen Kennedy all the time like it's her fault. No.
And a part of being a good leader is you got to be able to evaluate. It's okay.
I think Iger isn't a good leader, though. I don't think he's a good leader. I think he trusts the people underneath him to do what they're supposed to do. And that's not how it works.
I think he got a fucking degree in something. That should give him enough sense when he look at his social media stream and they saying Star Wars sucks. Even an idiot could know they're going to change something different.
And Kathleen Kennedy's still there. She's still running it, right?
The only reason they got her there is because she said, "Look, I'm profitable. Other than Solo, my movies make money."
She's there.
That's what's saving her.
But there's questions on how much she's there. That's the thing. Disney, and we'll talk about this for just a second. Disney has the curtain. Curtain's right here. When somebody has to say something, they step out of the little split in the curtain, step out in front of everybody, and say what they have to say. Everything behind the curtain, you have no clue what's going on. You really don't. They're never going to let you in behind that curtain because behind that curtain, honest to God, if somebody were to fling it open, it's going to look like a chaotic circus. Everything's going to be flying all over the place. This paper is going to be everywhere because that's just how they are. Everything, but out in front of everybody, what they show everybody, we're calm, we're collected, we got this all figured out. That's how Disney is. You're never really going to know if she's really in charge anymore or how much she's in charge. Because listen, when you have somebody like Dave Filoni, who basically, and I'd almost say it took a phone call from George Lucas to Bob Iger and says, "Listen, if you let Kennedy around this guy and around his new series, you're going to have problems."
Yeah, I don't think that had nothing to do with George Lucas, though.
No,
that had to do with Dave Filoni and Favreau saying, "Listen, we hear the things that are going on," and there was even talk that Favreau said he hated The Last Jedi. Now I don't know how true that was because I seen it on another past podcast or whatever, so I don't know how true that was. But if that's the case, then he would not want her around there. And not only that, when George Lucas was selling it and they had that interview, Kathleen Kennedy sat in that interview and said, we have to make sure that we stay true to George Lucas's visions. And when time came around, she never fought for that.
No, she didn't. She's changed everything inherent about the Force. The Force was not female. The Force was not male. The Force surrounded and binded the galaxy. It was a part of everyone. And that's the thing. She is very directly cut down the very fabric of what Star Wars is about. Everyone's welcome. Everybody's a part of this. All the aliens and stuff was there to show, look, there's diversity, there's different people, which is funny to think that the first Star Wars only has 2 females in it, the whole movie. But yeah, let's spin and get this third topic, and then we can jump in and kind of discuss all the topics together if we want. If the Zack Snyder cut is a success, how close will it move DC to Marvel-like success? If the Zack Snyder cut is a success, how close do you think it'll move DC to Marvel-like success? Nzo, 3 minutes on the board. Yeah, well, maybe. All right, go ahead.
Okay, to answer that question, not even close. Marvel still has a way longer head start than DC. Now, I've always said that not all of Marvel's movies are good, right? They got a lot of good ones, but there's a lot of ones in there that I don't like. DC's, 7, maybe 10 movies in at the most, right? 7, I think. I'm not exactly sure the number.
Who knows? Depending on what you consider the current storyline. And I mean,
right, exactly, because it's all convoluted right now, right? So they're not exactly sure what kind of that's the issue. So I think that if the Snyder cut is successful, then they might at least take a chance and say, okay, you know what, we're going to move on with this kind of vision that Snyder had. We may not make all the movies as dark, but we're still going to continue on. But again, at the same time, then we have the new Batman movie that coming out. So now they will have to figure out where that new Batman movie fits into this whole timeline. I mean, right now, they don't know what they're doing. And my problem is they should have kept the course, right? I understand that their first couple of movies didn't make as much money as they wanted to, but at least stick to the course. You had a vision, you had a way you were going, you go straight to that. You don't have to copy what Marvel is doing to be successful.
Absolutely.
You don't have to copy them. You know what I mean? So the only reason why it wasn't successful is because the movies weren't that good. But I mean, look at Wonder Woman, right? Wonder Woman was a good movie. That was a start. Then Aquaman came out, and that made $1 billion as well. So you had those 2 movies right there to build on. You had 2 characters that are in Justice League movies. So right there, you're building on that. You have Batman. Should have did a Batman movie with Ben Affleck, right? You should have did a Superman, a Man of Steel 2. Right then and there, you have those 4 main characters from your Justice League. If you want to throw in a Flash movie or a Cyborg movie after that, then I can understand that, right? But you got to have a vision, a start, and that's the thing. You got to have a start to where you're starting and then a finish to it. Kevin Feige had that from the minute he started the MCU. He had a start, he had a finish. It may have changed during the time period of the movies, or, they went a different route in there, but he knew it was ending with Infinity Wars. That's what he knew, but with the DCU, they just like, okay, Batman versus Superman, Justice League. So, and then where do you go from there? Like, if you're using Darkseid right away, where do you go from there? So yeah, they still have a long way to go.
They do. All right, Danny, 3 minutes on the board. Time starts now.
I did a stream a few months ago about I think it was involving Elizabeth Banks, and she was saying how men caused Charlie Angels to be a flop. And I would say there were 3 things that make a movie successful. First thing is the moviegoer has to be familiar with the content. Is one of the things. Second thing, the content has to be good. And third, word of mouth is going to make that movie successful or not successful. You get all three of those elements, and you're going to have a successful movie. Or if you get at least two of those three, the movie's going to be fairly successful, in my opinion. Right now, I think if Zack Snyder cut is dynamite and a home run, it's going to open up a lot of doors, a lot of possibilities. I think the flashlight or the light bulb, so to speak, is going to come on for the DC. What's going to hurt Marvel is when Marvel is way ahead in the race, but right now Marvel is going to uncharted territory as far as the fans are not familiar. I've heard YouTubers say, and even heard Nzo say, he don't know anything about the Eternals. Shang-Chi is kind of a mystery. So people don't know those moviegoers. The Marvel geeks may know them, and even some of the Marvel geeks don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But people know who Batman is. They know who Wonder Woman is. They know who Cyborg is. They know who the Flash is. So I think that if Zack Snyder's movie is a home run, they're gonna gain ground. They're not gonna surpass Marvel, but they're gonna gain a lot of ground. And by gaining that ground, that's gonna give them confidence. And I think if they put stuff in place and get a good showrunner in place, then they can catch up with Marvel, because DC characters, from everything I've heard on YouTube, we even had a discussion about this on my other channel, that their characters would beat any Marvel characters. 5 of their characters would destroy any 5 characters that Marvel throws up. That's what the conversation was. So I think if they get a good Batman movie with Ben Affleck, if they can get him back, a Man of Steel 2, a better Justice League movie, and a Flashpoint to kind of kickstart or point them in the right direction they want to go, that they can gain a lot of ground. I don't think they'll catch Marvel, but I think they can gain a lot of ground. Because sometimes, like a Super Bowl, was one busted play, and Kansas City would have lost. If the 49ers would have successfully done that play, it might would have been a different narrative. And I'm going to use a NBA basketball analogy with the Philadelphia 76ers use, and that's trust the process. If Snyder does what it's supposed to do, then DC need to trust the process, because they have the materials, they have the characters to catch Marvel, but they got to trust the process. They got to trust themselves and not put out these stupid, rushed movies that they have done in the past.
100.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. So 3 minutes. What? No. 3 minutes. All right. Nzo, you're totally right. Stick to course. That's what I've always said with this. So listen, one of these days, DC, Warner Brothers, AT&T, whoever you want to say, has got to say, listen, instead of backing up, instead of saying stop the car, put it in reverse, go backwards, you don't have to slam on the gas and try to ram your way through. Just figure out, how can we make this make a little more sense, and let's move forward with what we've got. Instead, they constantly get overreactive to a situation. Nope, bad reviews. Not the amount of money we were hoping to make. Shake it all up. Let's change it again. Guys, you had great actors. You had decent stories that needed maybe a better narrative and a better directive than Zack Snyder. Maybe. Because here's the thing. Zack Snyder, I guess a lot of people know this, but Zack Snyder left the Justice League. Several reports say it was because of family issues. Things were going on in his family. Other people say he was fired. Whatever it was, he had most of that getting ready to be going into post-production, and then they scrapped a lot of it and then added their own stuff, and it became very discombobulated. This was their way of saying, well, we're going to change the narrative, we're going to change all this stuff, let's figure this out. You got to stick to course one of these times and say, we're going through with it. Now, with them talking about Michael Keaton coming back, I'm not sure exactly how that would fit in with a possible Ben Affleck Batman, but what I'm thinking is this shows us more that they're going to go towards Batman Beyond, Flashpoint, and stuff like that. Because here's the thing. In the Flashpoint movie, you're going to need multiple Batmen. You're going to have to expand it and show that there are multiple places that this character does exist. This opens up for the Thomas Wayne to be brought in as a darker vigilante. This offers for Batman's, Michael Keaton's Batman to be brought in. You can, and I think why they're talking to Michael Keaton is because of that set of Batman movies. He was the most popular of the four. I wouldn't be surprised eventually if we hear maybe Christian Bale's names mentioned, because if you can get this and tie these movies together in some strange way, you make then what DC is trying to say. We are going to show you that everything that we have is tied together. Yes, I know exactly.
That's Negan.
Yes, but if they can do, if they can do that, then they will start setting forward a path to go forward. Where even if it missteps, and let me finish that before I start the 3 minutes. Even if they misstep somewhere down the line, a Suicide Squad, a Birds of Prey, which Birds of Prey I didn't hate. It just, again, we've said it before. It's not Birds of Prey.
It's a dud. It's a dud.
Well, fine, whatever you want to say. But okay, so Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey. If that happens, you just step away from that part of the universe and say, well, that was over here. We don't have to worry about what we did there, because they basically, even though they've made it seem like this all happens in the same universe so far, all these movies, because they put the Batman scene in Suicide Squad, even though they've done all that, they don't talk about Suicide Squad. It's like it doesn't exist. And it's so weird that they did that. So 3 minutes on the board. Look, I don't think they're ever going to catch Marvel. I don't think Marvel's going to have this epic failure in Phase 4. I just don't see it happening.
It's going to depend on their two movies. They're coming out the gate. They're coming out, well, not Black Widow. We know that's going to be a success. But the two follow-up movies, Shang-Chi and Eternals, we don't know. It's uncharted territory.
If they put the real Mandarin in, is going to be a success.
That's what they made a misstep when they did Ben Kingsley Mandarin.
Yeah, they learned from that. So
you know what? I would laugh my ass off if they got Ben Kingsley back and said, "Okay, you're going to be the real thing now."
I don't think they would do that.
I don't think they will. I'd like to see that, but I don't think it's going to happen. But here's the thing. They do missteps. But here's the thing. I heard when Captain Marvel was mentioned, and then when I watched Endgame, I really thought that they were going to go and push this woke narrative, and they didn't. There are parts of Captain Marvel I'm not on board with. I don't like it all that much.
Captain Marvel made $1 billion because of superior marketing skills.
Yes, exactly.
They put it right where it needed to get that push. So that's all that was.
Yeah, I put it right around where probably in the range of like Dark World, or one of the lesser Marvel movies. I like Dark World too, but I'm talking about overall stature in the series. But I was hearing all this stuff like they're just going to push this narrative, and they never did. So maybe we're hearing they're going to push this narrative, and they're going to turn around, and it's just going to work out well. Yes, it has hints of feminism in Captain Marvel. Maybe some of these new movies will have hints of feminism and stuff like that in it. But if they don't shove it down our throats, it's digestible. And okay, fine, I'll give you what you want, or I'll be fine with it. Hey, Angeles Draven, how you doing?
And for me, just to piggyback off something you said like DC has some missteps. They don't have to take those missteps and say it's over here or different part of the universe. They just got to move on from that, because Marvel has had the same things. Like, nobody really likes, other than me and you, basically, nobody really likes Thor: The Dark World. You know what I mean? Nobody really likes Iron Man 3, so it's going to happen. Hulk, exactly. It's going to happen. You're going to have those movies where people aren't satisfied with him, and it's not a problem, as long as you make sure that the next couple of movies are good, So it's going to happen. Marvel has it. Everybody thinks that Marvel's movies are great, and a lot of them are, but there are a lot of them. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, not a fan.
I don't mind that. Angelos Draven says, I like Dark World. I do too. Max Works says, they said there are two versions of Endgame. As I block out Nzo again, I hate that. I just hate that.
Okay.
Yeah, just
I'll pop my head up over.
They said there are two versions of Endgame. They wanted to know how much Captain Woke is like Captain Marvel. Just call her Captain Marvel. Let it go. And then she would be in more of the movie or not. And she wasn't like that much. The movie was just okay. I mean, there was no. I hated the way they made Fury look in that movie. It's like everything that Fury decided to do was because of her. Mm-hmm. And that she gave him all the ideas. That's not the guy I know. That's not. Okay. I mean, there have been a few movies I watch of Samuel L. Jackson where I just look at it and I'm like, man, that's just not a typical Samuel L. Jackson role. That was one of them. The other one's Jurassic Park. While he kind of has that badass demeanor about him in both movies, there's never that over the top scene where he shows, where he just walks in the room and you're like, oh, dude, shit's about to go down. Mm-hmm. Those two movies are just out there.
My guilty pleasure Samuel Jackson movie is Snakes on a Plane.
Yes, dude. Love it.
Me too.
I'm tired of all these
motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Yeah, I like that. That is the line. That is the line of the whole movie right there, buddy.
Yeah, it was, and everybody took that line and ran with it, bro. Mm-hmm. That was everywhere.
But, Eccleston,
Stanley hates the BBC.
Mm-hmm. Well, he has a problem with Doctor Who, and that's where Angela's.
I've never watched a Doctor Who.
Doctor Who's awesome, but you got to be in the right frame of it.
You got to be high as fuck to watch it. What I'm thinking.
Stop it. You don't have to be.
I was thinking a different BBC.
Yeah, I know. I had to look at that and I had to look up. I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay.
I think that's British Broadcasting Channel there.
Yes, I guess now.
Okay, so do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? We got about 8 minutes before we're up against the hour. Let's. I
just want to comment on something earlier. I really sincerely hope that whoever takes over Star Wars, man, they do it justice. It's exhausting trying to avoid all the haters against Star Wars now.
I still love Star Wars. The one thing I absolutely hate, I'll give all these people, I'll admit to all of it and say, yes, you're right. This was wrong. That was wrong. It's horrible moves they're making. The movies aren't where they should be, blah, blah, blah. I'll say all of that. I'll agree with a lot of that. Even though I am a Last Jedi fan, I like The Last Jedi. I know people think I'm crazy, but the thing I don't understand is these very people who claim to be Star Wars fans are saying, tear it down, destroy it, get rid of it. Why? No, as a fan, as a true fan, deep down inside, you want to give hope to the chance that somebody's going to walk in that room where Bob Iger or Bob Chapek or whoever's in charge of Disney, whoever's in charge of Lucasfilm is, walk in and say, this is how it needs to be done. Give me the reins. Let me do my thing. Kind of like Filoni did with Mandalorian. Well, and again, was it the best product? No, it's not. But how many people sat there and while we still said nah on some episodes and wow on other episodes, even the haters of Disney Star Wars, for the most part, were able to talk to the lovers of Disney Star Wars, and we were all kind of together on a boat that said, hey,
it's not bad.
It's not horrible.
So, I just want to pose this question.
Yeah.
Does it make sense for someone to dedicate a large portion of their life crusading and fighting for something that is not even fucking real?
For real. For real.
Listen, if we're talking about parts of our childhood and stuff, does it make sense? No, because I said what I had to say about the new trilogy, and I got off.
I'm not saying you, Chris.
I know you're not. I know you're not. I know the people you're talking about.
We all know the people that we're talking about.
At the end of the day, right? I'm like, really? You're gonna
dedicate
a channel and go to these places and critique the smallest little thing and watch the movie 4 or 5 times. And at the end of the day, when you sit down and think about it, this shit is real. I mean, it's not real. We got a lot more problems to worry about than
a movie.
Make believe stuff.
A movie, exactly.
Yeah. listen, if you're Star Wars theory, and there's a few other channels out there that are heavily Star Wars, and that's it. I understand that every day your topics are Star Wars based. It's just like after the point when you're trying to dig for this issue, like John Boyega is doing the protesting and stuff, and that's what your story or your video is on during the day. It's like, why? Just because John Boyega is attached to Star Wars, why are we jumping on this thing? And then it always reverts back to, oh well, he was in Star Wars. Star Wars sucks now, and blah 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 blah, and it jumps into the thing. You know, you got to go somewhere else with it.
Yeah,
say what you got to say.
Yeah. I'll make one quick comment to Angela Straven. I see you mentioned Moon Knight. I don't know if you have it or not, but Disney XD has the new Spider-Man. It's called Maximum Carnage.
Yeah,
it's like an hour episode, and the third episode was about Moon Knight. You might want to check it out because I really didn't know a lot about him, but it showed a lot about him in his past episode.
Yeah, but who should be in charge of Star Wars?
Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Hanzo?
I would agree with that too. I think they should be in charge of it because regardless of what I think, like I said, the Mandalorian is good. There's a few details like we talked about, but they have the love and passion for Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't.
I think it should stop with Jon Favreau. I think he should be the very top.
I think he should be the top, but I don't think he has the ideas that are necessary to make.
He don't have the ideas, but he started from scratch with Iron Man. He started from scratch.
I think he's good.
Square one. So he knows how to research the material and make it slide into place. Dave Filoni has the knowledge, and he could be like, look, John, this doesn't go here, this goes here, blah blah blah. But I think John has the leadership. Say, okay, I'm gonna let you do this part, but we need to go ahead and do it like this.
They need to sit down with George Lucas and say, this is kind of what we want to do with a new Star Wars series. What is your ideas? What is your opinion? Where should we go with this?
I'm going to say this to Draven here. Filoni is as close as you're ever going to come to canon as you possibly can anymore with Star Wars. He was there side by side with Lucas. Lucas is still talking to him to this day. Don't think he isn't, because they were buddies before. They're still buddies. If Lucas absolutely thought he was killing Star Wars, I don't think Lucas talked to him.
He wouldn't help, because if you watch
Star Wars, and the fact that he's still talking with Filoni about Star Wars tells you something.
If you look at the last season of Clone Wars, it says Dave Filoni and George Lucas, executive producers, after each episode. So George still had his hand in that.
And I just think that, and Filoni, again, for all the faults he has, for all the times he does step out of canon, for all the missteps he makes in the Clone Wars or in Rebels, it's still with love for Star Wars. I don't even think that's what Kennedy does. I think Kennedy just says, yeah, sure, it looks good, and doesn't even pay attention to the story, because she's a numbers person. Because that's all she has to rely on now is, if the numbers are good, I'll keep my job. And that's what,
right. Yeah. If it make dollars, it makes sense.
She doesn't care about the stories anymore. She doesn't care about the reception. She doesn't care about those of you who go out on YouTube and
bash it.
Yeah, she doesn't care. If you guys think for a moment that making 100 videos in a month or whatever you get made, and I'm not talking to any one particular person, I'm just saying, if a YouTuber thinks that if I go out there and I make 5 videos a day about how horrible Star Wars is, and that Kathleen Kennedy is a B, and that she's a horrible person, should never be in charge of it again, and she should be fired, blah 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 blah, do you think Disney's listening? Do you think that? No, because you're still giving them press. You're still giving them, somebody's listening, and somebody's like, well, for every person who's never seen the Disney Star Wars stuff, they're like, well, I wonder what this is. They go watch it. So for every 10 people you send to go watch Star Wars that they've never seen, because they're wondering, well, why is it so horrible? They watch it. For every 10 people, let's say 7 like it, 3 don't. Now you're giving them more people that they're on board with. And
it's not necessary that you care about the place you work at. And I'm going to give you an example. I'm pretty sure if you found out that old boy Patrick Mahomes, they give a damn about Kansas City, but every Sunday he comes on there and he plays lights out, would you give a damn? I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. For real.
So long as you come to the job and you do what you're supposed to do and produce and perform, you ain't gotta love it. You just gotta come to your job and do your job.
Mm-hmm.
That's all she gotta do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
she ain't gotta be in love with Star Wars. She just gotta do her job.
Exactly.
I think Filoni is the best.
I think Filoni and Jon Favreau are in love, or can fall in love.
Filoni is the main guy. If Filoni is basically right underneath Favreau. Favreau, I think, can keep things on track and say, yes, that sounds good. This sounds good. But Filoni is going to come to him and say, I think we should do this, this, and this. And then I think you might even have a chance of Lucas maybe not being a part of it, but sitting in on meetings and saying, that sounds good.
If they have a hard time connecting stuff, George, tell me what did this happen? And then he could be, well, I did this, and then get clarity, and then keep going.
I definitely think
and Filoni were in charge at the beginning. I think, like Nzo said, the treatments that they passed on, that Lucas passed on, they would have at least pulled two of them and said, okay, well, we're not going to use everything, but let's look through this. Oh, I like this idea. I like this idea. This looks good. This looks good. Let's try this, this, and this. I think Disney did some of that, but they just kind of did it for look, not for and I think the look, like I've said before, I'm not really heavily big on The Rise of Skywalker, but I want to say that look of that movie was so awesome looking. If you turn down the volume and you don't listen to anything that goes on in that movie, and you play Star Wars, the original motion picture soundtrack over that movie, it'd be visually perfect. It doesn't make any sense though what's going on, but visually it's beautiful. Just like Rogue One was visually beautiful, but the story behind Rogue One really added something. And what was funny is that they showed the ability to do something different there, and that's why I think, like Nzo said, let's step away from the things that we've talked about so much. With Mandalorian, it was better. With Rogue One, it was better. It wasn't perfect. It was just better than the crap that they were trying to attach to this, the Skywalker stuff. Skywalker saga should have just been left alone. It was in a place where it was wrapped up. Who cares? Why are we going forward past here? What else do we have to go forward to? So what? So what if Han Solo and Leia have a child? It doesn't matter now. That part of that saga was wrapped up. If Lucas had wanted to move forward, fine, because Lucas understood how you move forward. Disney had no clue. So, yeah.
Lucas definitely had a vision of how he wanted it to move forward, right? That's why he gave them the treatments. You know what I mean? So he knew where his final 3 movies were going to go. And they still may have been revolved around the Skywalkers. Maybe he would have felt like he needed to do something to maybe not finish off the saga. I kind of say it was finished in Return of the Jedi, but show a new generation, so that if he wanted to make some new movies, he had the Skywalker kids or whatever to go on and carry the legacy. You know what I mean?
Definitely. All right, guys. With that said, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about yourself and where they can find you, and we'll wrap this up. First off, we'll start with Danny. Go ahead.
Again, my name is Danny. On my show on my channel on YouTube is Comic Chats. I have a show on Monday night, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time called The Chaotic Conversation. I haven't discovered, I hadn't found out what the topic is going to be, but I'm sure I'll come up with something between now and then. Also, that following night, Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find me on the Chaotic list, or the Chaos list, which Nzo will be handling now. Again, on next Saturday, you can find me and Nzo and a friend of ours,
Mendizo,
on Square One, where we're going to be talking mainly sports, but a little bit of everything also as well. Later this afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, catch me, Nzo, John, and Terrence on Equilibrium, where we talk about mainly Stargirl for the first hour or so, and then we transition into other different topics. And of course, this channel every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch me, Chris, and Nzo, The Rule of 3, where we try to get 3 questions on the magic spinning wheel and discuss them intelligently and try to spark conversation with you in the chat. So please catch one of our shows. We all have good content. Please try and subscribe to Nzo. He's trying to build his channel and get more subscriptions, as well as myself and as well as Chris. I am about 3,100 hours. I gotta have 4,000. So I'm asking you all, please play my channel, my class streams, trying to get my my hours up so I can go ahead and try and get monetized. Any and all help that you can provide, it would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, excellent. Absolutely. And speaking of that, guys, make sure you go and you check him out, check Danny out. Make sure you go and you watch his streams and keep his channel running so he can get to that time. But also, we're trying to raise up the subscribers at Chaos Central. So that is the link that I just put in the chat. So we're at 53 right now. We jumped up 7 last weekend or over the last week. We're trying to get you guys to subscribe over there so we can start streaming specifically these shows over there. We need 100 subs to get our vanity link, which is basically, like youtube.com Chaos Central. Right now, it's not that. It's that long, whatever link they just give the channel. So we need your help. Pass it along. Let people know that we're trying to get the subs up over there, get it up to 100 so we can get that vanity link. But we currently are simulcasting on both channels, my channel and Chaos Central. And also Danny and Nzo will be doing that from now on too. So we'll be on both channels to try to make it less confusing where we're at. You can find us on both channels, just period. So sorry, Nzo, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself and where you can be found.
Yes, sir. You guys can find me, like I said, my channel is Biggaford Entertainment. I'm on this channel every Sunday. On again later on today with Danny and Equilibrium, with Terrence and maybe John today. He's a regular, but he might not be on today. I'm on Rob Storm's Live. I'm on losing my mind. The 3 channels the 3 channels we have here, the 3 tops we have here. So come check me out, guys. I'm trying to get to at least 100 subscribers right now, and then we definitely want to get Danny monetized. So go check him out. And we got Chris over here. You know what I mean? He needs the subs too. So help us out, and you guys will always find good content on all of our channels.
Absolutely. So everybody's link is down in the description box below, of course, with the also the moderators we have here on here occasionally, and where chaoscentral.com is at. chaoscentral.com, very obvious, but it has the link to Chaos Central's YouTube, Instagram, and other things. We have Instagram, can't think of it, Twitter, and all that. But all those links, including my links and Danny's links and Nzo's links, all of that is down in the description box below, guys. But we really appreciate you guys spending your Saturday or your Sunday afternoons with us. And we're trying to make this product as good as it can possibly be, with great discussion. We appreciate every one of you who come in, whatever your opinions are of the topics we talk about, because we're not about shutting off people's opinions, even if you like bashing Star Wars or you hate Star Wars. We understand that. I mean, we are open to all opinions. And that's what's really important about this. That's why we do what we do. So we thank you very much for watching today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night on Danny's channel or on Chaos Central, and check out the Chaotic Conversation. And then Tuesday, Nzo will be taking over the Chaos List, and he'll start doing that this week. So it'll be on his channel or over on Chaos Central, and we will be doing that. So with that said, guys, thank you very much to everybody. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Nzo. I greatly appreciate you guys being here as usual.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Love being here.
Absolutely. And so guys, do us a favor. Just tell everybody goodbye.
Peace.
Bye-bye.